Cambridge. She will be presenting the role of a biomedical scientist and how they are significant in analyzing biological specimens, helping clinicians to reach the correct diagnosis. I hope we can reach the correct diagnosis.
Yes, of course. Namaste, Jazalakwa, and good morning to everyone. My name is Sita Sylvester. I'm a biomedical scientist currently working in the Paco Hospital. Paco Hospital is one of the cardiac thoracic centers, one of the best cardiac thoracic centers in the UK. I think the student Stone has already given a nice talk about the presentation, so I'm quite nervous because after hearing their presentation, let's see. Is anybody knows what is the biomedical science?
I think Roshan knows.
If you don't know, you don't have to worry because that's why I'm here to explain you what is biomedical science. And because most of the parents and the children, they don't know what is biomedical science, and they're just thinking about the doctors, pilot, engineer, and they never think about the biomedical science, and they just think, oh, what is biomedical science? And they just ignore about the career, about the biomedical science. So let's, so that their parents think about in future, if they have confusion about the careers, they can just, oh, this is the biomedical science. Maybe I can send my children to study biomedical science. So let's hear. Okay, healthcare. Healthcare involves the clinician, diagnosis, and therapy. So in healthcare, like without the clinicians, diagnostic, and therapy is all related to each other. Without the diagnostic and the therapy, the clinician can't diagnose disease, anything. And without the diagnostic, they can't therapies, all the drugs, everything, they can't supply without the proper diagnosis what's happened to the patients. So the clinicians, they diagnose the disease after the physical, without looking at the physical symptoms, laboratory investigations, and radioactive investigations. So basically, biomedical science is a very vast science. It's not just it's involved with the hematology, transfusion, immunology, microbiology, and cytology, histopathology, everything. All the fields are involved in the biomedical science. Now I'm here just to, because I'm currently working in the blood sciences, and that's why I'm just going to explain about what is blood sciences. So I think most of you all have drawn the blood for test, sending for test, all those things, but you don't know what happened after giving the bloods to the lab. And then, so here the patient is, sorry. So the phlebotomist who collects the blood, and they collect the blood in different tubes. That's a tube called the vacuum channel, and this red, different colored codes indicate the different for the different tests. So once the phlebotomist collect the blood, they send to the laboratory to investigate what's happened to the patients. And according to the tubes, it goes in the different places. For example, here is the purple color contains EDT and stands for hematological test, and red and yellow stands for the red stands for the biology or the microbiological test, and the yellow stands for all the biochemical tests. So blood sciences. Nowadays, it used to be a separate department like biochemistry, hematology, coagulations, and transfusion. Now the hospital is just trying to save a little bit money on the NHS. That's why they just included all they make a single unit like blood sciences, combined biochemistry, hematology, coagulations, and transfusion. So this is my working area, and this is an analyzer we use to run all the tests and everything. So what is the biochemistry? What does the biochemistry lab? So biochemistry lab, I think you heard about the all these diabetic, liver functions, renal functions, everything. So in the biochemistry, we run all the body fluids like the body fluids to test about the carbohydrate, lipids, enzymes, hormones, and drugs. So if we need to can anybody tell us if I need to do the diabetic test, what we do? What test we send for?
Blood cells.
That's correct. And anything else?
Urine.
Urea?
Urine,
Yes,
yes.
that could be true. So the sugar and HbA1c is a kind of like the glucose test, and HbA1c is kind of to diagnose the diabetes. And the kidney function is all this urea, creatinine, liver function, and heart attack is troponin, and all the lipid profiles is included on the heart attack. And of course the drugs, amikacins, vancomycins, we do in the drug test. This all includes in the biochemistry. So this is a hematology department. So as a biomedical scientist, we have to do all the testing. Like we have to run all the chemistries and the hematologies and transfusions and everything. So here is the picture that I'm showing here. Do you know what is this?
That could be our.
I'm not asking for biomedical patient, my biomedical people, I'm just asking for non-biomedical. This is the red blood cells. Maybe you saw the red blood is a red color, but in the blood there is different type of cells, like the white cells, platelets, and red blood cells. And the white blood cells, platelets, and red blood cells have a different functions. So in this picture, all the small dots are, all the small round cells are red blood cells, and these whites are WBC, these colors are WBC, and there should be small, like something very small, that's a platelets. So each of the red blood cells, platelets have a different functions, and if something goes wrong with that, red blood cells, platelets, and anything has different results. So we do examine the blood cells morphologies and all the white blood cells counts, and just to log the anemia, if any patient got anything, any leukemia, and any kind of disease, so that we can give the report to the doctor and they can give the patient something. So in the hematology, it involves the coagulation disease as coagulations department, just to log the bleeding disorder. And the blood transfusion, I think everybody knows about the blood transfusion. So in blood transfusion department, it helps to provide the blood and blood products such as the red blood cells, plasma, and platelets, white blood cells for the patient who needs blood. And do you know who needs blood usually? The patient, like this, for example, if the patient has a low hemoglobin, of course they need blood, and if people they have bad accident and lost lots of blood, they need blood. And if this patient has something like diagnosed with the cancer and low immunity, they might have blood. So that's so the blood transfusion mainly deal with the patients group and provide them all the products they need. And here is the picture that this is the red blood cells with the malaria parasite infected red blood cells. So we can diagnose if the patient has a parasitic infections in the blood, we can diagnose with looking at the red cells morphology as well. So I think the blood sciences is, I think the biomedical science include the microbiology, and Sonia has already explained what is a microbiology, and I'm not going to explain about the microbiology because it's a very vast, it's a very big topic, and so in just and the biomedical science they can also work in the microbiology department, and they can do all the patient's samples to rule out the bacterial, virus, and all the parasitic disease. And of course, they can work in the immunology department as well to rule out the immune system. If the patient goes to the hospital, it doesn't mean that they have just like renal disease, kidney disease, and heart disease, and all those bacterial infections clinical. They might have autoimmune disease as well. Autoimmune disease means like the body's own cell attack to their own cells so that they create the diseases. So for example, the allergies, asthma, they think like the white blood cells, they think like their own antibodies, they will attack the white blood cell, attack the foreign particle, they think that's a foreign particle, so it will create the abnormal symptoms. So that's the kind of, and the rheumatoid arthritis is also autoimmune disease. And of course, it helps to diagnose. Also, all the antigen antibodies, immunology, they mainly deal with antigen antibody detection, so it will help to detect the HIV and hepatitis disease as well. Nowadays, it's a modern technology. Everybody are using the modern technology. So nowadays, they are using the PCR, Western blot, karyotyping, and gene sequencing to rule out what is actually there. Maybe the patient has a genetic defect, and so they will just. Okay. So scope of biomedical science. Once they study the biomedical science, they can work. Work as a biomedical scientist, but it doesn't mean that they have to work. They can switch to the medicine, dentistry, public health, biotechnology, healthcare. They can work in the research. They can work in the education. They can work everywhere. So it's a very vast person. So what's the entry role? So once you study, it doesn't mean that you have a degree and you have a bachelor's degree, you have a master's. It doesn't mean that you can go and work in the hospital. You need to have a proper license for that. So once you get the degree, you can get the registration from in the UK. You can get the registration from Health and Care Professional Council, and in America, we have to get the registration from the American Society of Clinical Pathology. And even if you wanted to work in Nepal, you need to get registration from NPC. And HPC. So it's just similar like physicians and nurses. They need to have registration to work in the proper hospital, guys. So then after that they can work. That's a protective biomedical scientist also. So this is the qualifications. According to the qualification, they can get the post. So for NBQ level, if they have just NBQ level, they can work as a phlebotomist and lab assistant. And if they have a 2 years degree, they can work as a medical laboratory technicians and histocytotechnicians and all the technicians. They can do technician work. And if they have a bachelor degree, 3 to 4 experience with 2 years lab experience, they can work as a biomedical scientist or chemical technologist or cytotechnologist. And if they have master, they can work as a consultant director, lab managers, and in charge. I heard this biomedical science bridging the gap. Why I get this name? Because it just bridges the gap between the physicians and the diagnosis. Because without the to diagnose the disease, you need to physician can't say like, oh, this patient has this disease without looking at the lab result or report anything. So that's why it's just gapping between the physicians and the proper diagnosis. So the diagnosis is not always the end. So you need to have a accurate diagnosis and better treatment. So this is the Papal Hospital. It's located in the Cambridge, and this is my working place. And thank you, Pastor Kusagudi, who gave me the opportunity to talk about to express about my working area and this biomedical science.
Thank you, Sita Shrestha, for a very informative. What goes inside your body goes round and round. In red. Your question, please. Your name and
my name is Pavel. Thank you very much for the presentation. I always wanted to know how the biomedical scientists differ from other field of biological sciences. My question is regarding the bridging the gap, but here I would like to know your opinion on how is the gap between the diagnosis and biomedical sciences in the developed country, and I know you work in Nepal as well, so how does it differ in Nepalese context? How do you diagnose on disease? How does it differ from here and there?
As we all know that we all are Nepalese, so we came from the Nepal, and
Yeah.
there's Nepal doctors, and they just see the patient and they just write it down everything, and just automatically they immediately they prescribe them medicines. But that's not the correct way, because without proper looking at what actually, even if you go for the for example for diarrhea and something correct, they think like, oh, this patient has a diarrhea, they will just get the medicine they send home, but it might have different causes. So some doctors, they are very good, they send all the tests, so without testing they can't do it, but nowadays it's improving a lot in the Nepal as well, without testing, all the tests, like a chemical, all the hematological tests and biochemical tests, microbiological tests, they don't actually.
Yeah, probably doctors are also impressed because the existing concept of patient where the doctor sends for lots of tests, then they would think that he probably doesn't know anything.
Exactly, yeah, that's the truth.
So,
Another difference is I think in Nepal we have to pay.
yeah.
That's the main point.
We have to, if you go to the, like a government hospital, they don't do anything because there's a the tests all are very relatively cheap. But if you go to private, you have to pay lots of money and they will get money. So they will just request that everything, even if it's not necessary. Like for example, if the patient has a something like diabetes, they unnecessarily they send all the microbiological tests, everything. But the patient doesn't know, they think, oh, maybe I have something like a very dangerous disease, so that's why they send all the tests. But yeah, that's a very sad point about the Nepal.
धर्मदारी डॉक्टर धर्मश्रेष्ठ सरी धर्म साक्य
Never mind, you tell
Very interesting about the different lab tests. So this is really correct. Just one or two points. Nepal, when I was working in Nepal, like places like Bandipur, where I worked 45 years ago, there's nothing. So I have to depend only and solely on my clinical knowledge.
Yeah.
So this doesn't apply to Bandipur, and it still doesn't apply to Bandipur. Now my question is about doing the test. Even in the UK, if you are working in a private hospital, the tests are done different than if you are working in the National Health Service. If you are working in the, I remember one professor telling me, Dr. Satke, you can do all the tests you want as long as you can justify when the patient has to pay the cost. But in National Health Service, because you are afraid in case you miss something, you do a whole lot of tests. Same thing in the United States, and I have many colleagues in the United States. They do a whole lot of series of tests. 50% of them most likely unnecessary. It's a defensive medicine because in case they miss something, and then they are sued. So where do you justify when do you do the test and how much you will do it? Very correct. You do the test, but sometimes doctors do too many tests.
That's true, because even this doctor, it doesn't mean that doctor knows everything, you know. Because I worked in, currently I'm working in the biomedical science and blood sciences, and there is lots of tests which doesn't need to do it. Because, for example, patient has a, my hospital is basically a cardiothoracic center, so we get whoever has a heart transplant, lung transplant, all the samples. But and these patients are they are already on heparin just to make sure the blood is to make a thing. But and for in that case, some tests doesn't need to do that. But they send the doctors, the nurses, they just requested without. And when I bring them, is it necessary to that test? They said, I don't know. I just sent it because it was printed out, and they just sent it, and we just.